that was part one, where I showed you the preparation and cleaning process. And now is part two, where I show you where I actually do the bending and how I go about forming the rings and polishing them up and finishing. Thank you. Okay, everything's all annealed. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with this one. And because it's so thick, I'm going to start trying to bend the first part first. And what I'm using is I'm using a medium-size rod, and I'm using a shallow die to start with, because these are very hard to bend, but since we've annealed it, it's made it a little easier. I'm going to do small presses. And you can see that I'm starting to get that bend. I want to get this part to go around so that it will meet this other part. Because otherwise it'll stick straight out and look funny. Annealing has helped quite a bit with these rings, with this design that is so thick. If we hadn't annealed, it would have been almost impossible to bend it. Okay, now I'm going to switch to a larger one because I really want a little bit of a larger circle. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the larger one. I get my bender comes from Flat Wearable, and the company is so good about helping you get started, helping you with tutorials and supplies. Alright, it's hard to see this through the camera, so I'm going to do a little bit of this off and then I'll come back. Okay, I want to say I've overestimated, so I'm going to have to cut a little bit off to get the size that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to cut it off right about here so that I can get the size that I want. So I clean that up, and I want this to be under here just a little tiny bit, like it is. And it looks like it's out of round, but it's really not, and it's because of these scallops that are here, but it really is pretty round. However, I do want this to come down a little bit, so I'm probably going to have to hammer it some to make that go down. So I'll put it on my ring tray, and I'll turn it around like this, and I'm going to take a rawhide mallet, because I don't want to get any marring on it, and I'm just going to tap it gently. And as I do that, it's going to move around. Oops, you can't see what I'm doing. Alright, let's see if we've done any good. Yeah, a little bit. It looks like this is over to one side a little bit, so I'll have to hammer that one on back, and I'll do that on the mandrel. Okay, I've got it over more in the middle a little bit. It's still off just a little bit. Let me say that there are other ring makers who are certainly more professional than I am. I am self-taught. And so there's some things that I don't know how to do, and I'm probably not very good at them. But I still wanted to show you the process that I take. Yeah, look at that. Okay, this is what I wanted. Now I want to bring this one down just a little bit more, and then we will be in business. Okay, I am quite happy with this. the way that it's turned out and the way that this is come in under there. And so now I'm going to take it over to the jewel tool and I'm going to polish it up really pretty. Okay, the first thing that I want to do, and all of this is different depending on what's going on with the ring, but I need to do a little smoothing in there, and so I'm going to put this on my ring mandrel and use my lightest grade to kind of smooth that out a little bit. And then I'll put it on my Run True polishing and polish it. But this helps to smooth it out a little bit. I have all kinds of different tools. Here we go. Alright, that smoothed it out. Now I'm going to put it on the polishing. I have several different polishing compounds and wheels that go with it. This one is the original, and the cone that I'm using here is called a Run True, and it polishes the inside. Now you might think that it's bad to have that looking black like that, but it's not. Actually, the black is very, very good. Okay, I'm going to take and using the Run True, usually you use your felt wheels to polish all the compound away. Sometimes that's kind of hard to do on the inside of a ring, but you can see that it's still quite polished. I'm going to do it one more round, and then we're going to do the outside. Okay, I'm going to polish now. This is my 4-inch wheel, and I have several different wheels and buffs for each set of compound. And there's no tried and true rule about which to use, except that when you use the 4-inch wheel, you don't run it as fast as you would with the 3-inch wheel. Now, I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to do looking through the camera, but the way that this works, when you put the compound on there and you just work it around, and you can see the compound is coming off and the shine is coming through. And if the compound won't come off, then you just add a little bit more, and that works it right off. You don't want to push too hard. I can tell I'm pushing too hard if the wheel stops. See that shine coming through? You see the difference between this and this. That's the magic of the compound. All right, let me finish this part off camera because, well, I've said it like a million times. I can't do this and look through the camera. Okay, this is pretty polished, and you can see I've got a little bit of compound left in there. It's really kind of hard to get it out with the wheel. I might be able to get it out with the buff, and I'll probably try that, but I'm going to take it to the sink and rinse that off. And this is what I was saying, you don't want to get this compound mixed in with dirt and grime. But while I have this out, I want to show you something else. Remember, sometimes I said some of the silver plating will come off. Well, I had a little spot right here where the silver plating had come off, and so I do have some silver that I can add to it to re-silver it. And that's what I did. I replated it, and now I'm wanting to see if how well that did, and if you'll be able to tell when I get through. So this is the ring I did earlier. So I'm gonna go ahead and polish this one. And you can't really tell. Now, maybe you can just a little bit. I may have to resilver it again. That's not a real refined process for me. It takes a while. Okay. Okay. This is washed and polished. Now, the last step, well, the next to the last step, because I have one more step, is to use an after polish buffer that already has compound on it to kind of finish off the shine. And I have several different ones, and which one I use just depends on what I can get it to look like. Now this looks like it leaves a film on here, so that's compound, and I may be able to wipe that off. If not, I'll use a different one. I may have to clean my buff. You have to be careful. You don't want to mix your compounds. And you don't want to, definitely don't want to put any compound already on this. Alright, let's take our blue cloth and see if we can wipe the rest of that residue off and see what we get. Wow. I love it. Do you love it? I love it. I think it looks great. I think the client's going to be real happy. She wanted a fancy or an ornate, she said. An ornate size 8 ring. Whew. And that's it. I think that's got it. It's nice on the inside. And that little compound in there. Get some of that out. And there you go. I'm very pleased with it. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you learned something. I hope you have a new appreciation if you didn't already. Some of you already know, and some of you already do have an appreciation for what artisans do. But I thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you'll come and see me on Whatnot or in my eBay store. Both of those are Cindy Collins Designs. Thank you.